the Republican Party has become a heartless, soulless entity that could not care less about the 50 million Americans who go hungry every day, or the 11 million people who can't find a job, or the 48 million Americans who currently have no health insurance coverage at all. The Republicans have fought and continue to fight every single effort aimed at helping the less fortunate. So we end up with higher poverty rates, higher infant mortality rates, and higher rates of cancer than the rest of the industrialized world, and all of these problems could be fixed, but the Republican Party says no. But at the same time, they have absolutely no problem extending a helping hand to the people at the top of the income ladder in the form of tax breaks, corporate subsidies, and political favors. The top 1% of our income earners are doing just fine, but Republicans are making sure that they get every benefit our government has to offer. If the Republicans really want to rein in government handouts, then they should look at their campaign donors. Because even though they aren't struggling, even though they aren't going hungry, and even though they don't need it, the top 1% of income earners are sucking trillions of dollars from our government in the form of corporate welfare every year. Joining me now to talk about the corporate welfare being handed out to the 1% is attorney Howard Nations. Howard, we've got Republicans in Washington that are doing everything they can to stop any kind of safety net program for the poor. But at the same time, they don't even make a peep when they hear that we're giving $1 trillion in the form of subsidies and tax breaks to the top 1% of earners. Why is that? Why is there a difference between helping those who need it and giving $1 trillion to those who don't?
Well, primarily because the $1 trillion goes to the people, the wealthiest people in the country, who have lobbyists. They have direct contact with congressmen. They have the pipeline that can get them the tax breaks they need. Whereas the poor, who are supposed to be represented by Congress, are totally unrepresented in Washington. It's a ridiculous situation that's just simply getting worse in every session.
Of course, that always turns out to be horrible for those in need. You know, right now they're on this kick that they want to dismantle health care, which is, hopefully going to provide insurance for, the 48 million Americans who currently don't have it. But, I think obviously, we've discussed what's happening, to the bottom 99% quite a bit, but I think it's staggering the fact that we're giving, hundreds of billions of dollars, and some estimates say, as close to $1 trillion every year to those who don't need it, and a lot of that, we give billions every year in the form of tax breaks and subsidies to the oil industry, and they're making, $20 to $40 billion a year apiece. Have you seen some of these numbers? I mean, what's going on here?
Well, what's going on is this. We have two classes in this country. We have the super rich and we have the rest of us. And the super rich are putting money away faster than they can even keep up with it. And they're buying more and more influence in Congress as they go. The fact is that the super rich have the influence in Congress to get individual tax bills passed, to get every kind of tax bill there is. They talk about the deficit all the time, and this is supposedly being done to control the deficit. The fact of the matter is that there are two ways to control the deficit. One is by reducing government spending. The other is by increasing government income. The way to increase government income is through taxation. Yet, reducing government spending is the route they choose. And since the sequester debacle, we've lost 900,000 jobs. We're going to lose 1.6 million through 2014. They've reduced food stamps for the hungry, aid for orphan children, Head Start programs for the poor children, and they've just attacked the elderly left and right on entitlements. And now they're trying to force yet another debt crisis on us, which actually doesn't exist, because the fact is the deficit is $640 billion. It's reduced by more than 50% since Bush left office. And this is the fastest reduction of deficit since World War II. Yet the cry is we've got to cut entitlements, we've got to cut jobs, and it's a big lie. it's a very big lie.